Hey, Mom, so grab your favorite mug. I got mine, see? Yeah, I've got all my lip gloss on it. Grab your favorite mug. That's mine right here. Pour yourself a cup of joe, and I just spilled mine. And let's pull back the curtain and get a real life glimpse into what it means to be a momtrepreneur, like you just did. From soccer games to science experiments that require a fire extinguisher, life as a momtrepreneur is never dull. And sometimes we're so busy, this mom life can feel isolating. But, Mom, you are not alone. I started doing these coffee chats for the work from home mom so you don't feel isolated or alone. And maybe you can relate to some of my stories, like a fire extinguisher being used on the science experiment. So today we are going to check in on crushing goals. So are you crushing them or have they crushed you? That's what we're talking about today. But first, I want to remind you to check out this week's show where we talk about high needs babies. And this is something that is near and dear to me because I've had 3. And they were all different in their degree of high needs. So this week is part 1, where we just talk about the different of high needs that each of them had, because none of them were the same. They were all very different, of course. Like, why can't we just, if we're going to do it, just do it the same way we did it before? No. So next week is part 2, where I'm going to talk about how to work in school when you have a high needs baby, because it's not easy. And remember, I would love for you to subscribe to YouTube, Rumble, or the podcast. So I'm trying to crack that magic number 100 and would love your help. And remember, you can connect with me on social media or by emailing hello@lifeunboxed.blog. And yes, it comes directly to me. So I would love to hear from you. You can support the show with coffee. Visit ko-fi.com/lifeunboxedblog. That's ko-fi.com/lifeunboxedblog, not .blog like I said before. All right, so that is all the preliminaries, and now let's get into the show. So I hardly have any notes because it's just been one of those days where, actually weeks, I should say the last 2 weeks, let's have some coffee, that have just been busy. Probably because I was sick again with the stomach bug last week. And so, things just kind of pile up, and so you got to get through that pile as quickly as possible. And so that's what I'm trying to do. So, before we get started, because I did promise you in one of the show a few weeks ago when we talked about book club, and I'll leave that link in the show notes below. Our next book club book is called A House in the Sky, and so this is actually a memoir, and I'm only on chapter 2. It's kind of a long first chapter, and so far it reads like a story. So it's not just like they drone on about facts. Like, I have this Margaret Thatcher autobiography that I've been reading for years now, and it's her official biography. And I'm going to be honest with you, it is like so dry. It's so dryly written. It's like I have to just kind of plow through it. And I have a lot of respect for Margaret Thatcher, so I would like to, to know more about what made the Iron Lady. And it's just really hard to read. So it reads more like, I guess, a dry textbook. So far, House in the Sky is interesting. But the story does get pretty intense because it ends up being kidnapped in Somalia. So don't know what it's about. But we're going to find out. So that is our next book club book. But Mom, The spring is almost here. And the first quarter of the year is almost done. So I thought it would be a good time to check in with you and see how you're crushing goals. Because this was always the time of year that I just gave up on all of my goals. Now, if you have listened or watched the goal series that I did back in November, and yes, I will leave links below, then you know that I actually despise the idea of goals because they just don't really work for the mom life. You have all of these systems, SMART goals, SMARTer goals, big, hairy, scary goals, and that one still doesn't make any sense to me. And, set your goals and then block out the time of the year that you want to achieve it. And then what are all the steps you need to lead up to it? And it just doesn't work because things happen February was just like a done month for us this year. Everyone had the big C and just it's exhausting. Like for whatever reason, the fatigue from that just kind of overwhelms you. So you may be better. You may be past, your 10 days, but you're exhausted still. So I had that. So February was like a shot month. And when I was sick, I barely read because I was tired. So I just kind of laid on the couch and binge watched Matlock. And then, so just as I'm like starting to feel better, okay, I feel like I'm getting back to my energy levels. I'm getting all of this. I got a stomach bug. And the thing was brutal. It really was. Now, I don't know if it was because my immune system was still trying to recover, whatever the reason. It was just terrible. I'd rather give birth without an epidural than have a stomach bug. So I have 6 weeks where nothing productive got done. So if I had these time blocks in there like you're supposed to, with all of these goal systems, I would be so far behind at this point that there would be no recovering from it. So that's why I don't think the popular goal systems work for moms. So what I like to do is, you're going to have goals because you have things that you want to accomplish. But it's also the process of how you are going to accomplish those things. And so I'm more inclined to do habits. So I want to write my book. That is a goal, and I want to have it done by the end of the year. So not necessarily published, because at the pace I'm going right now, I don't know if we'll get there, but done at least. And because then you'll have to lay it out, design a cover, all that kind of stuff. So how I'm doing that, and like I said, in one of the other previous shows we talked about, I can only go as fast as I can. So what I'm doing is creating the habit of working on it every week. And even if I only write 250 words, at least it's getting done every week. If I can fit it in more days, then I will do that. So it's these small, consistent habits of working towards your goal, and you will get it done. So I did want to ask, are you crushing your goals, or have they crushed you at this point? Because it can be discouraging when you look at everything you wrote down. You started in January and you were going all in and you're going to get this stuff done, and then life happened because you're a mom with kids. And if you're a homeschool mom and a work from home mom, you have a lot going on. And there's a lot of things that you're just not going to get done. And so then the mom guilt kicks in, because moms, we are so good at the mom guilt, right? We are experts at mom guilt. And so the mom guilt kicks in, and then you feel bad that you're not doing it. And then it's just well, I'm just going to let everything go. Okay. Don't do that. If your goals have crushed you at this point, the first quarter of the year, things just went off the rails. Maybe you got sick. As I cough still. Yep, still hanging around. Or things came up. Like I said, I've had a number of projects come in from clients. And so right now, because that is how I make money, so they kind of are the priority as well. just happens that way. So that also takes a backseat to some of these other things that I want to get done. But again, small, consistent steps will get you to your goal. So don't feel guilty. Like, one of the habits that I do is I try to work out at least 3 times a week. I have not worked out in 6 weeks because I've been sick. And last week this was the week I was going to start getting back into it. And then I had the stomach bug, and that knocked me out for a few days as well. And just being tired, trying to recover from it. So think of your goals and the things you want to get accomplished. Think of what small consistent steps that you can do, that you can fit in to the margins of your life. Even if that means you're sitting in the parking lot waiting for your kids and you're writing, or I've done that. Or you're taking 5 minutes by yourself in the bathroom because that's about the only place you can get to be by yourself, and you are jotting down ideas or brainstorming, whatever it is that you want to accomplish. Where can you fit them into the margins of your life so that you can get them done? Okay, so if you are crushed by your goals, if you're not, like I was thinking, like, where am I at with my goals or the things that I want to accomplish? And honestly, despite the fact that I was like totally knocked out for the month of February, I feel like I am still on track. Now, there was the 3 things that I wanted to do this year. I wanted to write my book, I wanted to create a course, and I wanted to do unit studies. And at the beginning of the year, I thought I would probably focus on the book and the course. But at this point, I'm kind of focusing more on the unit studies because I feel like I can get them done quicker and actually have them for sale. Like, these are unit studies that I've created and used at our co-op to teach classes. And so they've been tested and tried and true. And so because most of the material is already there and already created, I just need to package them and write the instructions and then put them up on the store. So I feel like I need a quick turnaround, I guess, instead of these really long-term projects, and something to also, generate income. This is a business, and as with any business, you want to generate income, and you do that by providing value to the people that you can connect with. And so that has kind of shifted. So for you, what things maybe need to shift? That maybe 2 long-term projects working simultaneously is just probably not going to work for you. So what do you need to shift? So if your goals have crushed you, what do you need to shift? And then, are you being too ambitious? Now, don't take this the wrong way, because I am the most ambitious person you will ever meet. Nobody can beat me in my ambition and in my ability to actually act on that. Okay. So, but I've had to step back and learn the hard lesson that I've probably needed to learn years ago, but am just now accepting that lesson. And that lesson is I can only go as fast as I can go. I do have other priorities, and I don't want my kids to be a backseat to my priorities. I only have them for a certain amount of time. And honestly, this is not a long time that you have them to raise them. It really isn't. I remember when people would tell me that when my oldest was a baby, and now he's going to be 17. And it's just oh my gosh, they really were right when they said it's going to fly by. So, that is why I'm doing all of this, is for them. So if your goals are crushing you, do you need to just put some on the back burner? Are you too ambitious with the things that you want to do? And then finally, have you given yourself the grace to only go as fast as you can go? And it's a hard one. Trust me, I don't like doing it. But give yourself some grace that life happens and you may not accomplish everything that you set out to do, but that's okay. It doesn't make you less of a woman. And I know because the whole idea, you have to be an ambitious businesswoman. It doesn't make you less than that. It just means that you understand all of your priorities. So, on that note, because I'm trying to make these shorter than 20 minutes, because I know sometimes I look at these podcast times and I'm like, oh, I cannot listen to that. I cannot go into it. So, these I want to be like quick and you hear the stories and it's just like, oh, she understands me. She understands I'm not by myself. She understands where I'm coming from. So that is a wrap for this Momtrepreneur Life coffee chat, and I hope you enjoyed it. And let me know, like, what do you have to make peace with? Because you can't do everything. So if you have a super ambitious list, or if your goals have crushed you and overwhelmed you, then what are you going to do? What are the steps you are going to take so that you can enjoy your life? Because we only have our kids for a very short time and you want to enjoy them. You do. You will never regret missing a goal, but you will regret time that you weren't able to spend with your kids. So, not to be melancholy, because it's kind of melancholy, but all right. So, let me know in the comments below. Have your goals crushed you, or are you crushing them? I feel like at this point I'm crushing them, but hey, it's only 3 months into the year. So I'll let you know. I'll give you an update in December whether they crushed me or I crushed them. And I will see you in the next Momtrepreneur Coffee Chat.